and conversations ignite. I'm your co-host, Joel Peterson, and tonight we're delving deep into the heart of some of today's most pressing and provocative issues. In this corner, we have Joel Peterson, a conservative black male who brings a blend of traditional values and insightful and thoughtful analysis to the table. And in the other opposite corner, we have my lovely co-host.
Bringing all the same things, but a lot better. This is Cherie. Welcome back, everybody. So glad that you can join us once again for Respectful Disagreements.
Before.
I mean, it's all love all the time.
So we can agree on one thing.
What's that?
Happy Black History Month.
Absolutely. All the time.
That's where the agreement ends.
That's right. You know what? So let's do a little recap. So last week we started off our conversation talking about the qualities and characteristics needed, or the one should look for when dating and looking for that special someone, looking for that partner. And through that conversation, we touched on a lot of different topics. One that was quite interesting, that has led us to talk about it more, we're going to talk about it again today, was gender roles and the role of a woman in a relationship and the role of a man in a relationship, especially when that comes to living together. And Joel was adamant about the role, the man being the head of the household. Now, I don't disagree with that. But I do feel like it is a co-situation, is a co-agreement partnership. Yes, in times of intense thought process or things come up, you do need a decision maker. But I think in those moments, you decide on that based upon what the situation is. Because to your point you made last week, some of us have different thought processes about things. So now the man is the one decision maker or head of household and runs everything. And we don't agree on that. And actually a couple callers didn't, at least one of the callers didn't agree with you either. So,
well, I love the setup because you just said everything I said last week.
Great. So what was the confusion then?
There was no confusion. I kept saying y'all weren't hearing me. And y'all were saying that everything was that I think the word tyrant and a few different words came out. And I was like, y'all not really listening to what I'm saying. I never, ever, 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 ever said that the man makes every decision. I never, ever, ever said that you need to consult with the man in making the decision. What I said was the man was the culture maker of the house. Okay. And the culture maker of the house is not the same as the one who makes all the decisions. The example I gave was you have a CEO and a COO.
I don't like that analogy.
Okay. But
okay. I'm listening. Yeah. Because that one's tough.
A CEO, when you look at a large company, a lot of times you don't ever even see the CEO. The CEO doesn't make everyday decisions.
I don't think that's making your case right now with that point, but that's okay.
Yeah, the CEO.
I want to say.
Right. I see what you're saying. The CEO, but
sure.
my thing is, it's the CEO is not necessarily visible to everybody else, right?
Sure, absolutely.
The COO makes the decisions on an everyday basis that makes the company work. But the CEO is in charge of making the culture of the organization.
Again, I'm just going to disagree because, I do believe.
But I feel like you just said the same thing.
Well, the CEO, because I just don't like this analogy because it's not a good one. But I don't have anything else to equate it to.
Okay.
So
you can't come up with another good one, a better one.
Well, because I can't
equate.
I'm not going to. No, I can't equate a relationship, a family dynamic to work, to a CEO, because it just doesn't work that way. And I understand why you need that structure in a company, but in my home.
But my whole thing is you started the conversation.
It is we set the culture.
we started the conversation. You said everything I just said. You started the conversation. And you
I
said,
did, but you just said sets the culture. So to me, that means there's someone that is superior in this.
No, not at all. Not at all. Because
Then why isn't it a
I'm
we
sorry.
set the culture? Well, because again, I'm going to go back. I don't like equating a family dynamic to a company CEO.
The words are triggering to her.
They're not, because there has to be. It's hard because in a company situation, you do need a hierarchy.
So hold on.
In a household, you do not.
You just said this, right? To start the show, you just said, all right, in contentious or situations in the house, there needs to be a decision maker. You just said that. No.
Yeah, no. I said that. You said. I said when it comes to that, the decision is made, and I want to say it's mutually agreed upon, because depending on that situation, I'm gonna say, you know what, that's not my strong suit. You gonna decide,
right?
And my husband gonna say, yeah, that's not me. I'm gonna let wife decide this,
right? So, but that's a
mutual thing.
But listen, so you're getting culture maker and decision maker. You're getting culture maker and decision maker confused.
No, I don't think you're explaining culture maker right.
No, because
you just said the man sets the culture.
The man sets the culture. Nope. I agree with that.
We set the culture.
So hold on. So even using the same CEO example, CEO and COO example, the CEO doesn't set the culture by himself. He does not. Every good leader empowers everyone else around them. Every single good leader does. I feel like you're
maybe I'm caught up on the CEO thing, because
I think the CEO is probably triggering to you. Yeah.
Because it's a hierarchy, it's a structure, it's a hierarchy, and I don't believe that a family structure is built that way. It's flat. It is two people here. I really wish we could
replay the start of the show. I really wish we could, because you said
I'm not saying anything different.
You said everything that
what am
that
I saying
said.
Different? Yeah.
You're saying everything that I said.
I didn't say that the man sets the culture. I ain't say that.
Let me ask you this question. Actually, let me ask Debo this question.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Debo,
you said last week that you're the head of your house.
As the man I am. But
wait, hold on. But tell me what that means.
What that means is I'm man enough to know that my wife sets the culture in my house.
Let me ask you this question. What is setting the culture? Because I feel like we don't know the definition.
Setting the culture is expectations. I'm supposed to do. There's certain things I know that I'm supposed to do within the home. She's responsible for the children and certain aspects of the home that I'm just not going to be good at. So therefore we have roles, but yet she sets the culture. Listen, we all know why do you think the judge always get a house to the woman? Because it's her house.
No matter
that's not my example.
Well, that's my example.
That's not my example. That's not my example.
Because depending on how it happened
in my situation.
I wasn't going down talking about your situation.
No, I know that. I know that. I'm just saying it didn't get awarded in my situation.
Well, okay, then you had your business fixed differently.
But here I have something. So, but at the same time, Debo, you can tell me there you come to a point where, because you've been in a relationship with your wife so long, you just intuitively know like who's gonna do what.
So, but
right?
Listen,
but that was built upon. So this is why we started this conversation, because that was built upon the characteristics that I was looking for in my mate.
Agreed.
That we could build upon together. Not that I needed someone to come be the head of anything for me.
Once again,
this is a mutual thing.
Words in my mouth.
I'm tapping out. I'm out of this. You guys handle that.
You're putting words in my mouth. Okay. All right, because
I did not.
You did, because you said I need. I never said you need. All right, so those are words that you put in my mouth. Okay,
but as we segue, it's gonna turn to I need.
No, so this is the thing, right?
Look, you don't made Debo leave.
when when you are in charge of a culture,
Uh-huh.
all right? When you are in charge of a culture,
Mm.
if you are a good leader,
Mhm.
you know the strengths of everybody else.
Absolutely.
So if you are a good leader, there is no way, if someone is better at running the house, if someone is better at managing the bills, if someone is better at whatever situation that comes up and arises,
Mhm.
a good leader not only says, hey, you're in charge of this, like you can run this, but you also completely empower them to say, you don't have to run this by me. Like you got this. Like,
right. So, and this is why I have difficulties, because I hear what you're saying and I don't disagree with what you're saying as it pertains to working in a company.
so
I don't consider my
can
family
we
structure
go
a
back?
company.
Can we go back to how you opened the show?
Yeah.
So you said, I don't necessarily disagree that the man should be head of the house. That's what you said? Those were your words.
In the sense of honor and respect for the person that I am with.
So what does head of the house mean? What does that mean to you?
I don't know, because I don't structure like that. So that's why I don't understand.
But you said I agree. So what
No,
are you agreeing with?
I'm agreeing with showing honor and respect in holding up the person who is my partner in this life to do these things with, to run the household, to raise the children. Like, otherwise, I know we tag team back again. We a tag team. We partners in this.
Of course.
I don't know, but I don't know what that means.
Of course.
Besides having to check it on my taxes, like, are you the head of household, or like, other than that, man, I don't know.
So listen. When I talk about setting a culture, I am not talking about someone making decisions in the house.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So let's get that out of the way.
Okay.
We're not talking about day-to-day decisions. We are not talking about that. All right.
Okay.
Because head of the household doesn't mean I run everything.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that at all.
What does it mean?
But it does. It means that I set the trajectory of my family. And when I say I set it, it doesn't mean that I set the trajectory of my family and then include you in this and say, hey, we're going this way, come along. That's not good leadership. Good leadership is I communicate with my partner. We talk about these things, but I set the culture and I point the house in the direction of where we're going.
I think you just contradicted yourself.
I did not. I did not. I did not.
Yes, you did.
No, I did not.
Oh dear.
I did not. There's no contradiction in that at all.
So you just said that the head of household doesn't make decisions without.
I didn't say does it make decisions.
Well, okay. I'm sorry. Well, you didn't let me finish.
Yeah.
Without the consultation.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then you just said
yeah
that they set the direction
of the house,
of
right?
the house,
right? So
did they consult anybody before they?
Of course, I just said that. So
then we're in agreement that it is a co-part. Like, you have to do it together.
But then there's also the lead. So when it comes to,
so why does somebody have to be? Why is there a hierarchy? Why there has to be someone above?
Because
if you're going to turn and ask,
there isn't above. There isn't an above. There isn't an above in this.
Well, when I hear head you in the front,
Right.
you lead.
Right.
There is
So,
co-leadership. So why
it's not-
is that title there?
So for instance, head of the house means in head of the house means this. I'm not going to go back into the whole setting of the culture piece, but I do need to just continue to make this distinction between setting of the culture and making everyday decisions. I have to keep going back to that. But then
I don't
going into
understand.
me looking out for your spiritual well-being, your emotional well-being,
Mhm,
and not only you, of the children of the house as well.
mhm.
Making sure that, and this is my house right now that I'm talking about. I'm not saying this is
Sure.
for everybody, right?
Okay.
But my house is going to be like a Christian household.
Okay.
All right. And I'm going to set the house for that.
Mhm,
I'm going to set the direction of the house for that, to make sure that we are learning Christian values.
mhm.
That is not up to the church or whoever else. It's like, I am taking responsibility of implementing that with our children, implementing that in our house, implementing that of anyone who kind of steps in our house, of like setting the standards of
Mhm.
this is what is going on in my house. Now, in setting those standards, I am not making those decisions by myself.
But you set the standard by yourself.
No,
Okay,
I just said that.
that's a question. I'm just asking a
No.
question.
That's what I was
So,
getting
can I-
into.
So my follow-up then, you just said no. So that means that you and at the time your girlfriend and then your wife had to have some type of conversation about
Right.
that's the way.
And it's a non-negotiable.
So that, again, in dating and whatever it is,
Right.
it had to be something you talked about and co-agreed
No.
to.
No, I didn't know.
Well, it's
Not at all.
to be together, because you said it's non-negotiable.
It's a non-negotiable. So
Right.
it's
So it's
if
either you're
you're
gonna do
not-
it or not.
So
you
right.
agreed both that this is
So-
something we're gonna do.
So when you say it, so when someone says, yes, I want to take this to the next level with you, you're opting in to the standard that I'm setting.
And I shouldn't say, or it wasn't that someone has opted in, it's that she then found a mate who had the same things that she wanted about her household.
Possibly not. Possibly not.
Possibly not.
Possibly not.
You're right. Possibly not.
Right.
But you're in agreement, sure. But there has to be some co-agreement in moving forward.
But
is
I
what I'm
said
saying.
that in the beginning.
That's all I'm
I said that in the beginning.
Then I think we're saying the same thing.
I said that in the very beginning. That's all, and that's all I'm saying.
I want to talk about, again, these roles and everything, and if our listeners have anything to say or want to comment on Joel's, I think his contradiction, but that's cool. 414-444-5250. Give us a call, comment, drop in a little comment on the Facebook page.
Can I ask you a question? Huh? Yeah, go
yeah,
for it.
straighten them out.
Go for it.
What's the question?
The question is this, and I'm going back to the analogy. All right,
the CEO analogy,
the business analogy.
Oh,
okay. Just listen.
All right, I hear you out.
Does a good CEO, or let's not say CEO. Let's not say CEO.
Well, see, here's the thing, because what I would agree to in a CEO company is not what I'm going to agree to in family. So that's why I have a hard time with that analogy, because then you're gonna be like, see what you said, but no. I don't look at those as two. Those are not apples to apples.
So, but we're talking about leadership, and I feel like leadership is the same in any situation, whether it's business, whether it's on a baseball team, whether it's on a football team, whether it's in the home. Leadership is leadership.
Yeah, but how you lead, how I lead when I am at work, and the way I move when I'm at work is different than how I move and the way I do at home.
But the structure of leadership is the same. I'm going to set the expectations. I'm going to
the expectations are there. We've already
of the house. Yeah.
When you say of the house, what does that mean? Like
Of
the
the
children
house.
of the house, like
Of the
expectations.
house.
We can't turn the heat up at certain time. Like
boy.
what's come on now? Like I want to know. You like set? What is the set? Like is it with the
So,
children?
I
Or,
would-
I'm serious.
No, so with
What time we eat?
my no. It's again, you're talking about everyday decisions. We're not talking about that, right?
Joe, can I ask you a question quickly?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
I know last week when we talked about this, I did ask you was what Reverend Dr. Ward that called in
Mhm.
Was what he was saying based on biblical. Now I know there's a passage of scripture, and then tell me if I'm taking that wrong when it says, "As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord."
Yeah.
So is that the man speaking, saying, "For me and
absolutely.
my house"?
Absolutely.
He's saying
So much
that's what's going to happen.
Absolutely. And that's what I was trying to get into when she asked me that question of like what are the things that you're talking about. That was one of the examples I gave when you stepped out, was that, and this is again my house, right? I am talking about if I'm saying that in my house we're gonna have a routine of prayer. In my house, we're gonna have a routine of reading scripture. In my house, we're gonna have a routine of these things, and those things are non-negotiable. Period.
What if she doesn't want to pray?
Then she wouldn't be my wife.
You
And
didn't know that until after you had
No,
already.
So it goes back to our original, and that's exactly what I said. It goes back to the very, very beginning of where we started this conversation, is the qualities and characteristics that you look for in a partner when you're doing the whole dating thing. So at some point, she had already either in her, that's what she wanted, and or said, this gentleman right here is worth the change, right? But at some point there was an agreement, there was, right? And so what I feel like I hear is that it's set by, and then I have to come along, and then if I don't, then I'm over there. But that's what I think that's what a lot of people was hearing you say.
I know, but I feel like a lot of people weren't listening.
Well,
it's fine.
I just, it's sometimes you got to admit, like if everybody is, hearing something and you're like, no, that ain't what I said, but like,
but when I can literally go back and say, I never said that the man makes every decision in the house. I can literally go back and say that. I can literally go back and say that the things that people are objecting to, I'm like, oh, I never said that. That's a good point, but I never said that. Like I need people to talk about things that I said, not things that
I get it.
I'm talking about.
Nah, but in the context of of how it was structured, it felt like what folks hear.
Let me say this, right? I would be a fool.
Oh, right.
I would be a fool. Would be a fool. Not am. All right. I would be a fool if I didn't listen to my wife. Because when I was courting her, one of the things that was attractive to me was her wisdom. One of the things that would attracted me to her was her level head. So why wouldn't I consult or talk to or even listen to what she is saying? Like that's beyond goofy,
right?
To me.
So I'm glad you, again, but what the listener heard,
yeah,
Debo heard, right? Like I'm just saying. So that's all. So that's why we had to come back and retouch on this. So for clarification, even though it might be just a little cloudy still for me, but I hear what you were saying, and in the same token, I want to stay on the same thought path, but I want to talk about, again, going back to the original conversation of characteristics and qualities of a good mate. And I think when we were talking after last week's show, we talked about where does it start? And it starts when you're raising your kids, right? How are you raising your kids? What are you telling them? What are you teaching them? And again, we believe it or not, folks, we disagree. welcome to the show if you
Right.
haven't been here. we don't agree, and because I will speak for myself and I'll let you speak for yours. So I'm just going to go back to my original thought here and say I don't believe in gender roles as they pertain to characteristics of being a good mate for someone. You need to learn, I don't know, I feel like it's sometimes it's right from the womb we have this, I found out I'm having a girl, so you get the pink room, and then it's the dolls, it's the this, and it's like this constant grooming of one way. And the same for young boys, this constant grooming of one way, and not enough teaching just core skills of honesty and trust and self-advocacy and all the things that I feel like, again, I feel the other things will come. Other things will come.
Let me ask you this question. All right. And let's say this. You found a man. All right. You found a man, and let's take it back to when you were 20. All right. You found a man. He was honest. He was trustworthy.
Mm-hmm.
He was hardworking.
Mm-hmm.
He was committed.
Mm-hmm.
He was loyal.
Mm-hmm.
Just loyal.
Mm-hmm.
But when y'all went out to a restaurant and y'all ate and y'all had a good time, and then y'all leaving, y'all walking back to y'all car, and somebody came up on you and he just turned and ran.
Okay, sure.
But he had all those qualities of being honest.
Sure.
And loyal. So there are some things that are like that are gender based. So you,
but
so
just because he a scary cat don't mean that he ain't so right for somebody. That look, he right for somebody.
Right for who?
Just wouldn't have been right for me. Fine. But what I'm saying is that you can't.
But that's hypocritical. You can't say that we're raising people. All right, we're raising people to be good humans.
We should raise them to be self-sufficient,
and self-sufficient, and
absolutely.
all those things. But there are some things that a man needs to be able to step into.
I feel like those things come along that journey. Like I feel like you're talking about like, again, if I need someone to stand up, protect. I don't disagree with that. However, I'm not grooming my kids to be like, yeah, if there's something go down, you need to stick around and
you tripping.
Not. No,
you tripping. Because when's he gonna learn it?
Joel, I've never heard you talk like that.
But
when's he gonna learn it?
He's gonna learn it through the other skills, right?
The other skills of what?
If I love and I trust you and we're together, I'm not gonna turn around and run.
How do you know that? I've seen it. I've seen it
running away from you.
Yeah.
No, I don't, because I feel
You've seen what?
I've seen people not stick up for their ladies.
Oh.
I've seen it on multiple levels. I've seen it.
Again, I'm going to say that's because someone didn't
taught right.
I bet you they can't stick up for themselves then. They were not taught self-advocacy. They were not taught how to stick up for themselves.
That's not true.
They were not.
That's not true.
Nah.
Because I guarantee, and I'm not just talking about physical stuff.
I'm not either.
I'm talking about, I've seen people
being able to push back.
Listen,
to have
I've seen people that if you talk to them crazy, they gonna snap. But if you talk to their woman crazy, they ain't gonna say nothing.
They don't really care about them. They don't care. That's because that's something different.
That's not nothing different.
That's something different.
They haven't been taught.
Nah.
They haven't been taught.
They don't want to. They find the right one, they will.
No.
I don't want to hear it.
You haven't.
You find the right one.
Can we all just get along?
Huh?
Can't we all just get along?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, you have to be taught. Dude, you got to be taught how to be a man. You have to be taught.
What is it? Tell me what that means.
What?
To teach someone, to teach a young. Huh? Yeah, you got to be taught to be a man.
Yeah.
So you can't go through obstacles in life to make you become a man.
I think
Sorry, the question was, I don't know if
Yeah.
the listeners
if you
can hear,
the mic.
is
Yeah.
that you have to be taught to be a man.
You have to
cannot
be mentored into being a man.
The
Yeah.
obstacles, trials, tribulations that you go through in life don't teach you to be a man.
I believe that for the majority of people, now I'm pretty sure we can, for every single topic that we talk about, we can find
Absolutely.
10 or 5
Sure.
or 20 people that don't fit the mold.
Absolutely.
Right? You can find people who's been around women their whole life, and whatever the case may be, and they end up being quality guys. All right. You have some. But I'm saying for the majority of people, that you have to be taught, you have to be mentored into how to be a man. Same thing with young ladies. Young ladies have to be mentored into how to be a lady. You know how to be a girl, but to take that next step to being a woman, it has to be mentored into you. The same thing with the man. Like it has to be mentored into you. Whether it's a coach, whether it's a father, whether it's somebody has to kind of show you the ropes of how do
What
you
does
respond?
that mean though? Like,
How do you-
you?
because
I don't get it.
I'm gonna speak on it.
All right.
Right.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
You go back to your corner. You go back to yours. We got to take a break.
We'll be back.
They're getting a little worked up in here. Somebody want to take us to break? Come on, take us to break.
Thank you so much for listening. Give us a call. Let us know what you think at 414-444-5250. We'll be right back. Respectful Disagreements. We are discussing the qualities and characteristics of how to raise your child to be a good partner to someone else. And Joel is not picking up what I'm putting down
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
at all.
Not at all.
So
Not at all.
continue on, like, because I don't understand. I shouldn't say I don't understand. I hear what you're saying, and you need to be mentored into being a good man, and you need to be mentored into being a good woman. And I feel like I understand a little bit what you're talking about, right? You need to see those examples. You need to have a guide. You need to have someone to show you the ropes of those things.
Mhm.
However, the foundation to be able to get to the places I think you're talking about, we have to raise children to have very, very strong characteristics around self-awareness, around even things like being happy for someone else, being disappointed when things happen, being okay to what's the word I'm saying? To understand how to give and receive from people. And I think those foundational things move us into a place where, yes, you can be a good person. Does that mean you're going to be compatible every time you meet somebody? No, because there's other things that lead to that, but that's the foundation. And you still need a mentor and a guy for that, right? You need a parental mentors to show you what that looks like. And you brought up coach, and I'm glad you did, because that's usually for a lot of people where we kind of see it or get it, and it's very intentional, right? But it happens at home. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen enough. And I think that's where the crux is. That's the empty hole that then people have to go back and fill.
So
is the foundation.
Okay. And so there's probably 80%, or maybe I would even go as far as say maybe 85% of what you said I agree with. That you have to raise quality people. Period. Right? Quality people. But I do believe that there is an element that when it comes to a man or a woman, that only a man can probably get the best out of another man, and only a woman can get the best out of another woman. And so, and I feel like that's what you're talking about, like that guide, that one, because you trust them enough, because you know they kind of feel and have gone through the same thing that you have gone through, felt the same type of emotions that you felt before. And so it allows you to trust, it allows you to let your guard down, and it allows you to be mentored, and it allows you to not have those barriers and walls up that may come from someone else talking to you that's of a different gender. So yeah, I do agree that you have to raise people to be quality people 100%. But there are certain things when I said what I feel like a man is responsible for, and you kind of agreed with that. I said protection and provision. And what I said was for the provision is not necessarily, oh, you have to make the most money, but the provision is setting the culture to where everyone can flourish in the house.
Okay.
Right? Setting the culture to where everyone can flourish in the house, to everyone can be their best selves, setting the culture to where everyone can be their best selves. And then protection as well. Like within those two things, I feel like a man has to mentor you into how to do that, because if not, we see it out here now. A whole lot of men didn't have the guide, and so they
didn't have the foundation.
They didn't have the guide, because there are fabulous single moms out there, fabulous, that are raising quality people. But when it comes to the provision and protection, there are a whole bunch of men that are lacking because the guide it wasn't there to show you how to do this. They might be trying to experiment. They might be trying to, they have listened to the culture and listened to what you were talking about, the gender norms, and they're trying to do that because they don't have the guide in front of them showing them that, nah, that's not how you be a man. Like, nah, that's
help me
that's not how
understand.
you
Like
do
when you
that.
say that's not how you be a man. What are you touching on? Because
So
maybe
again,
that'll help me.
So again, we're
understand
talking
a little
about like
better.
the gender roles and stuff that we were just talking about, right?
Right.
So there are a lot of negative stereotypical gender roles, right?
Absolutely.
So you have a man, right?
Mhm.
And he's raised and he's and maybe in his 20s or
Okay.
18 or whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
That little mid range, right? The mid range
When you
is where
think
you
you
try to
adult.
figure it out, right? And so they're starting to develop what they think a man is, and so they might look to society, and what society is telling you what a man is oh, you possibly need to have more than one woman. You possibly need to have
Fancy car.
You so then like a mature man could be like, nah, bro, that's not what we chasing. That's not what we doing. That's not what we're doing. And I don't feel like that
message
can't come from a woman.
Okay.
Because if we're looking at, like, let's just take Milwaukee, for instance.
Okay.
Right? Milwaukee is, I think the last statistic I heard was like 78% ran by single home people.
Sure. Okay.
All right. And I think it might be even a little higher than that. Right. I am not saying that single moms aren't doing a good job. I'm not saying that they're not even saying the same things I'm saying. I'm saying it's not being received. Because when you look at the landscape out here, that message is not being conveyed. And I'm not assuming that the single moms aren't saying it. I'm not saying that the single moms are encouraging men to be toxic. Not at all. But the message is not getting to them.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? The guide's not there. The guide's not there. There's no one showing them like, no, bro, this is not what we do.
So what I really hear you saying is that it's not the message, it's the messenger, which
1000%.
needs to be. Well, I a little hard pressed to think that message didn't come from a male at some point prior to being, that 18, 19, you know what I'm saying? In high school, whether it be a teacher, a coach.
But
I get it.
But it has to be, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it has to be someone who is invested in you. Like, it can't be like, so you have coaches, right, that are like, okay, I talk to you when you're playing, but then you have some coaches that go beyond and checking on kids when they're home, and
sure.
So that's the stuff we're talking about, right?
Okay.
So it's not just a coach. Like, so I have a kid and there's no males around. I'm gonna take him to a football league or whatever the case may be. That doesn't necessarily solve the issue. It's the actual coach who takes a interest in the child beyond football or beyond basketball or beyond whatever, what math or whatever it is. They take an interest in them and have them in their presence in a lot of the in a lot of the other issues.
Sure.
So that's so it's not just a teacher or a coach. It's someone that goes above and beyond, which is rare. All coaches don't do that.
I don't disagree with you. I don't think it's that rare though, because I also feel like, again, at some point, I guess I'm going to go back to that, because go back to my thought process back to what I was saying about the foundational things that are needed. And I think the more that those are honed in and drilled in, sometimes those messages are there, but being receptive to them are not, because there's something in that foundation that has some cracks and there's some leaks there. And I say that as I was a young person too. I feel like I got all the messages, but I didn't pick them all up. Right?
Sure.
Human.
That's
we're all
everybody.
that's
Right.
and that's everybody,
everybody.
right? And so I feel like
you're still not picking up my messages.
I'm not, because again, we talked about this earlier, and raising children to be with the goal of being a partner, someone's partner.
Yeah.
I'm not raising my child with the goal of being someone's partner.
Okay. And that's
if that happens, absolutely. I'm not doing that because I want them to grow up alone. But I think that there are other things that we need to check off the box before
Sure.
of those things.
Sure.
Right. And I mean, those things are way down there somewhere.
Sure.
And raising a child to be a partner, and then what was the other piece of it? I'm sorry, I don't remember. You was to be a husband or a wife, or to be a single, or am I raising the child to be a single,
mm-hmm.
or if I'm raising them to be someone's partner?
And I feel like those things are different.
Okay.
Those things are different, because I feel like you can raise a good person and they not become a good partner. I feel like there are certain skill sets there are certain skills that you have to be a good partner, that you don't necessarily have to just to be single.
Again, I'm going to I think it starts with the foundation, because I'm always going to go back to the things that are missing and lacking, and being able to be receptive to things. I think about, to your point, there are people who have grown up in single family households. Mm-hmm. Therefore, will that person, whether they're a young girl, young boy who grows up to be an adult, mm-hmm. then they won't be a good husband or wife?
No, not what I'm saying.
Well, nobody was there to mentor them or show them how to.
That's not true. That's not true.
Oh,
that's not true.
Then I didn't pick up what you was putting down.
Yeah, no. So I feel like the natural progression is that stuff should be passed on by your parents. Mm-hmm. All right. But there are many cases where that's not the case.
Single
parent homes, mm-hmm. or whatever the case, whatever it is, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe you have two parents, but they're not present. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it could be.
Physically, emotionally,
all those things, right? Mm-hmm. So in those cases, that if it's not passed on by the parents, then yeah, you have to seek outside sources. So if I don't believe that someone can say, hey, and this is the case with absolutely anything. If I want to be an engineer, I probably need to go hang around some engineers. If I want to be a basketball player, I probably need to hang around a whole bunch of people who play basketball. If I want to be a wife or a husband, I need to be able to hang around husbands. It's mentorship. Mentorship is the key to life, period. So in whatever thing that you're talking about, like you need to have some wisdom that's passed down to you. There are certain skill sets that a husband or a wife has to have that a single person doesn't have to have.
Like what?
You have to be completely selfless to be a mom or a dad. To be a good mom or dad. Mm-hmm. You do not have to be completely selfless if you have no desire to have a child or be a husband or wife. You do not have to be completely selfless. Mm-hmm. You can be as selfish as you want to be. and still be successful and still be what all the things. But if you want to be a mom or a dad and be fully present, or if you want to be a husband or a wife, selfishness cannot be in your character.
So I hear what you're saying, and I'm not disagreeing with that.
Yeah, so I mean,
but I think that comes
tons of
but I think that
skills
comes
like
from
that.
But again, that skill, that being comes with teaching, compassion, understanding, again, conflict resolution. Like all of those skills are still needed and fit into that slot.
No,
I just don't need that.
Selfishness doesn't.
I just don't need it at that moment.
Selfish.
I just don't need it at that moment.
If in my head I don't want to have children and I don't want to get married, I don't have to be selfless.
I don't disagree with that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying because obviously as you are 18, 19, 20, you're getting up there, you can be, but then because you want something different, then yes, you shift, you change, but you have to have a good foundation to do it well and to be selfless about it, to be compassionate, to be understanding, you need those skills to roll into what you're saying.
So listen, in our like relationships that we have, there are work relationships, there are just regular friendship relationships. Those skills that to be a good friend and to be a good work employee, to be a good husband is different. It's different. It's totally different.
I'm not saying that they're the same. I'm saying
that skill totally different.
Is built off of the foundation. You need to have these things.
I'm not disagreeing with you that you have to be a good person. Yes, I agree. You have to raise people to be good people. Yeah, I agree with that. But I feel like there's more to it if you're raising them. So as a man,
here comes something wild.
As a man,
here's a setup.
I have 3 sons. I want my sons to have children. I don't want my name to end with them. I want a legacy.
So it's about you.
No, it's not about me.
Well, what if they're like, I don't want to?
I'm
just saying, I don't know.
That's their choice.
Okay,
that's their choice. But I said this is what I'm saying.
But you're already grooming them that they're going to do so.
I am preparing them for if they make that decision.
Okay,
they will be huh? So I want my children to have children. And in order to have a child, I think it's best that you need to be in a committed relationship. So I'm going to prepare them to be in a committed relationship. I'm going to groom them from very little to understand how to. I have 3 sons and I have a daughter. Right? I have many conversations about how do you protect your sister? How do you protect her? And it's not just that she is a damsel in distress and can't do anything. No, absolutely not, because I'm not raising her to be like, I can't do nothing. I can't do nothing for myself. I'm not raising her to be that way, but I'm also at the same time simultaneously teaching my boys on how to look out for her with the mindset of eventually you're going to have somebody that you're going to have to look out after as well. And I don't need you to be 25 trying to figure it out. I don't need you to be just getting married and then trying to figure it out. To me, I failed as a father. If I'm looking at the things that you can get into and I don't prepare you for those, I failed as a father. So I'm preparing you because I want you to go to school. Yes, I'm preparing you for that. Yes, I'm preparing you for all of these things. I'm preparing you for all those things. But I'm also preparing you for if you choose to get married and you choose to have a child, there are certain skill sets you need to have. And so I'm not raising you to be by just like I'm just gonna grow up and just be by myself. I'm not raising you to be that way.
I don't feel like, so I hear what you're saying. And in the same breath, I will say that no, I don't feel like I'm raising my child to eventually have their own kids. Like that is a decision that they will make. I do feel like the lessons and the things that we are teaching them will then carry over to those things. But it is not my first intention when I am teaching and when I am instilling values and lessons into my child. That's not my end goal.
It's my end goal.
It's all about you.
It's my end goal because I want you to have a good family, and I don't want you to try to figure it out. And there's going to be some things that I'm teaching you that you might just throw out the window and just be like, "Yo, Dad was crazy." Like, but at the same time, I'm letting you know I'm exposing you to these things.
All right, we're going to go to break. Give us a call at 414. Oh, look at that. I didn't even notice the time.
Time
Back to our corner.
You're having fun.
We appreciate you listening yet again to another episode of Respectful Disagreements. I am Cherie.
And I'm Joel.
And we will see you next week.